As a game, Fortnite really rewards people who play it.
Yes! Oh! Let's go!
You can put as much time as you like in, and you're absolutely going to get something out of all of that. But your crunch, tell me where you at, your motivation guy. That's right, I am back. And this is the story about a 15-year-old who is currently both the winner of DreamHack Duels and 7 Cash Cups. And he's made over $100,000 doing it. Noahreyli, whose real name is Noahreyli, grew up in Switzerland and has always been a big fan of gaming. When he first started to get into Fortnite, his username was Insanity Noah because he was just such a big fan of the Swiss esports team Insanity. And he's always been a hardworking player, and nothing shows that more than his Twitch account. It is by far the oldest of his social media, since it was created on the 5th of February 2017, and his first ever stream was over a year later, on the 9th of April 2018, and almost everything on his channel was of him playing Fortnite. It was usually him either in the middle of a scrim game or maybe just warming up before a big match, but it's his routine outside of that really stands out. The whole process takes around 2 hours. He starts with a lot of aim practice, roughly an hour, and a lot of that is actually outside of the game. He uses a game on the Stream Store called Kovacs Aim Trainer, which is a collection of drills to help improve your accuracy. Then he go into creative for some mechanical building practice for about a half an hour, and his main focus would be on just doing everything very cleanly. You can't go fast until you can do the basics. Then after all of that, he'd drop into Arena and play a couple of games to reinforce what he learned. And it's this part he streamed. Obviously, he got better at doing this as he developed more as a player and added way more steps into his routine over the years. But the point is, this was all built up from nothing. It was a combination of a very dedicated work ethic and an effective training regimen. This routine of training, then Arena, and finally scrims continued pretty much until the start of 2019. Epic started rolling out more and more tournaments, and as a build-up in hype for the upcoming World Cup. And Noah was playing in all of them. He made it into the highest division in the Share the Love series, got 150th in the Gauntlet Tournament series, and 43rd in the Lux Cup. Based on these results, pretty much anything could happen at the World Cup. And he did live up to that reputation. He'd almost always come in the top 1,000 spots, and in solos, he'd actually get 202nd in week 3. But in week 9 solos, he actually came in 2nd place in the entire semifinals. And in week 10, which was duels, he partnered with another Swiss player called Tickle, and they got 27th place overall. Unfortunately, across all the weeks, he wouldn't qualify for the finals in New York, but it lit a fire inside of him to keep going. His training regimen got stricter, and he was starting to play with a lot more higher skilled players in general. His performances at the World Cup had gotten him enough attention as a player to get access to the practice server Scrim Discord, where the top ranked players practice against each other. For some upcoming trio Cash Cups in July, Noah and Tickle stuck together, and both of them added another Swiss player to their setup, Low1. And together, they achieved one of the first big successes of Noah's Fortnite career. They get 20th in the first Cash Cup, and then a week later, get 29th. That's $2,400 each, by the way. And Noah was only 14 at the time. There wasn't a lot of time to celebrate though, since the Season 10 FNCS was approaching very quickly. And for whatever reason, Low1 decided to leave. So they ended up picking a British player called Zol to round out the trio. They'd win a Cash Cup on the 23rd of August, getting $6,000 each. But at the actual FNCS, they wouldn't do as well. They made it in the top 100 spots across 3 weeks out of the 4 qualifiers, and in the heat, they get 15th place and not make it through to the finals. By this point, Noah had a small fan base and was averaging around 10 viewers every time he streamed. And he was picking up some traction on Twitter around this time as well, because he was posting clips of how good his mechanic skill was. But the wider Fortnite community has still yet to discover him. The next big event for Noah was the 2019 Logitech G Cup, which was an in-person LAN with its own streaming coverage and brought a whole new type of pressure with it. But Noah's squad came out on top and won 3,000 Swiss francs.
Tickle's bag pack, first place!
In the Chapter 2 Season 1 FNCS, Noah was kinda lost. He was changing squads every week, trying to find something that would work for him. He ended up going with Forzoki, Razon, and Fleux. But by the time he settled on a team he liked, there was only 2 qualifiers left. And in both cases, they get 13th and not make it through to the heats. Between these 2 tournaments, Noah played a solo Cash Cup where he got 6th place overall and a prize of $6,000. Most people don't even know this, but he even made a video on it. It's just on the channel that he doesn't use anymore. For the next series of duo events, Noah teamed up with another player called X8, and the two of them headed straight into the Season 2 FNCS. In their first week of the series, Noah's internet started lagging and gave him 300 ping for almost all the matches, which makes it really impressive that they got 360th somehow. Luckily, the issue would go away for the next few weeks, and they double qualify for the heats, but they'd underperform and get 41st in their group, and not make it through to the grand finals. Noah's reputation was paying off on Twitch, and now anytime he felt like streaming, he'd have roughly around 100 people tuning in to watch. Right after this, Epic announced that in a few weeks' time, they'd be hosting an invitational version of the FNCS, but the format would be solos. During all of this, Noah was still playing duels at the time for Cash Cups with X8. If I'm being honest though, both of them were placing a lot lower than their potential. They were both fantastic players, but weren't really a good fit for each other. And in week 1 of the FNCS Invitational, Noah got 75th place. Him and X8 mutually decided to split apart, and Noah would put out a tweet on the 14th of May that read, "Still looking for a duo next Cash Cup, can I GL?" And this single tweet changed the direction of his career forever because who answered the call? Vidil. On the exact same day, around 6 hours before Noah's tweet, Vidil tweeted this, "Looking for a duo, I guess." Their timelines and careers synced perfectly and gave us one of the best duels to ever play the game. Vidil and Noah played a dual Cash Cup on the 21st of May and got 27th place. A few days later, Noah got 83rd place at the FNCS Invitational Grand Finals. Then on the 28th of May, Vidil and Noah played another Cash Cup and this time got 18th. Noah started paying a lot more attention to his stream during this time and on the 3rd of June and brought back a staple of his earlier content. He was doing a 1v1 wager with anybody who was willing to play against him. This ended up being a bigger hit than he ever imagined, and his streams went from roughly 100 viewers to averaging 400 every time he went online. Believe it or not, everything Noah had done up to this point was while he was still unsigned to any organization. But Ovation Esports saw that he was someone worth investing in and signed him to their org on the 14th of June 2020. In June, Noah and Vidil started looking for a third member to join their group, and after trying out a few candidates, they went with one of Noah's ex-teammates, Noahreyli. In their first Cash Cup together, they got 8th place, and in their second, they won the entire thing. And Noah's recording of this win ended up being the first video he uploaded to his new YouTube channel.
Let's go!
The Season 3 FNCS was only a few days away by this point, and the rule set was solos. Noah ended up coming 84th in the first qualifier, 2nd in week 2, and 6th in week 3. In the heats, he played out of his mind. After a string of low-scoring games, he scored 33 points in a single match. He got 11 elims and won the match, skyrocketing him all the way to 5th place in the semifinals. In the grand finals, he got 47th place, which is still incredible, even if he wasn't happy about it. And afterwards, the rest of the FNCS tournaments would be trios. And for Season 4, Noah partnered with Aqua and Reza. And on the 13th of September, the three of them would play in the Lobaty Cup and win the entire event. Season 4 started off well. They got 14th in week 1 and 30th in week 2. Either way, they were through to the semifinals. And then some drama happened with Aqua, and he released a statement saying because of leaving during a shakedown and then his tweets afterwards, he was banned from competing for the next 14 days. So, in other words, his squad couldn't play for the rest of the FNCS season. Noah focused a lot more on streaming during this time, pretty much daily. And the hype around Aqua's ban meant tons of people were tuning in and following. Noah and Raisin ended up returning to Vidil for their next few games as a trio. They entered a Cash Cup on the 27th of October and they won that. But in the meantime, Vidil and Noah had come together to enter as a duo for the DreamHack Open November. Their setup was perfect, where Noah would IGL at the start of the games, and then the near end of the game, he transitioned into a fragger and they just switched roles. They were easily the most aggressive duo after tournament because of how good they were at doing this. Teams were trying to contest them, but immediately started regretting it after getting destroyed by them. In some games, they end up getting 1 or 2 elims and around 40th place. Then in others, they kill a quarter of the lobby and win the match. The final day of the tournament had a very shaky start, and they got 31st in the semifinals because of how inconsistent they were playing at first. But in the finals, they were getting minimum 7 kills in most of the matches and placing around 10th in every game. By the end of the tournament, they come in first with a 48-point lead over second place, and they'd established themselves as a team to be feared. The two of them kept playing cash cups, with Raisin afterwards winning one and coming fourth in another. Vidil and Noah would win the Logitech G Cup 2020, and as a trio, won the first cash cup of the new year. Noah ended up stepping away from Ovation at the start of January 2021 and stayed as a free agent for a couple of months before eventually signing with Become Legends in March. Noah, Vidil, and Raisin went into the Season 5 FNCS absolutely on a tear. They came 9th in their first qualifier and made it through to the Heat, where they placed 5th. At the end of the first day of the Grand Finals, they were at 5th place and behind first by over 30 points. Somehow, through the second day of games, they managed to perform so well that they were racking up points like it was nothing. Looking at the table before the final game, there was only an 11-point difference between 3rd and 1st place, with Noah, Vidil, and Raisin in 2nd. And then, in the final match, where anything could be decided, Noah's game crashed. It was heartbreaking, but they still came in 3rd overall and are now one of the most respected teams to ever play the game. And that leads us to today. Vidil and Noahreyli are still killing it, and they won the first heat of DreamHack at the start of May. And with Raisin, the three of them continue to stomp pretty much any cash cup they enter. And since they placed in the top 3 in Season 5, they've already qualified for this season's finals. All we have to do now is wait and just see what happens. Noah's built up an insanely loyal fan base over the years, and it's clear that he's got no intention of ever stopping. But your crush saw me, that was it. I hope you guys enjoyed the story of Noahreyli. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and remember that if you can believe in yourself, all things are possible. Never stop the grind, never quit. Connect with me on my Instagram at Your Motivation Guy. I believe in you. I am your #1 fan, so you better keep going and you better never quit. Don't quit on yourself, don't quit on this game, and don't quit in life. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.